As research would suggest, the sport we today call tennis is an 800-plus-year-old game with a rich, storied history seeped in poise, elegance, and most importantly, refinement. Having had ample time over the past millennia to iron out any inconsistencies in the setup and rules to make for one of the most balanced and fair contests as possible. Most would argue, in fact, that in today's day and age, as far as professional tennis is concerned, any possible attempt by a player to game the system or exploit loopholes would be futile. There's a rule for everything. Or so we thought. Enter 2021, the year of Toiletgate. First, a quick background summary to bring you up to speed for context. Charging into mid-2021, Stefanos Tsitsipas found himself playing the best tennis in his career up to that point, where upon entering that year's French Open, he had already made the semifinals in Melbourne and had won the Monte Carlo Masters in previous months, racking up an impressive year-to-date 34-8 win-loss record. However, after finding himself up a momentous and potentially career-defining 2-sets-to-love against Djokovic in the finals at Paris, Stefanos' game collapsed, ultimately succumbing in 5 sets. What happened next was weird. If you came to this video after watching my companion piece on mid-match coaching, you'll know that Stefanos has a, let's say, checkered past in his interpretation of the rulebook. However, unlike his purposeful disregard of the coaching rule, what he did in 2021 was a bit different, and most importantly, not in violation of any rule. After a spout of early round tournament exits following his loss in Paris, in mid to late 2021, spectators and commentators began noticing Stefanos' new, uncharacteristic habit, taking extended bathroom breaks in every match played, many of which lasted upwards of 10 minutes in length in contrast to the 3 to 4 typically utilized by most. Now, harking back to the 2021 rulebook, yes, a player may request permission to leave the court for a reasonable time for a toilet break, a change of attire break, or both, but for no other reason, and are entitled to 1 bathroom break during a best of 3-set match and 2 bathroom breaks during a best of 5-set match. Of note, nowhere does the rulebook stipulate how long the player is allowed to be away from the court. With this in mind, though the extended breaks were at first casually observed, yet mostly disregarded by the press at the ATP Masters 1000 in Canada, it was the incredulous nature of such that turned heads at the far more heated ATP Masters 1000 in Cincinnati. After squandering 2 match points and the second set to Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime in the quarterfinals, Stefanos stepped off court with his bag for 10 full minutes, returning only to handily win the 3rd set 6-1. In what proved to be a dramatic turn for Stefanos' image in his primetime semifinal match against the German Sasha Zverev, the Greek again left the court with his bag for an 8+ minute toilet break after losing the first set. Though this time, Zverev wasn't having it, not only berating the umpire for allowing players seemingly unlimited off-court time mid-match, but permitting his opponent to take his bag and items with him, postulating that Tsitsipas was possibly illegally communicating by text with his father, coach Apostolos, who incidentally at the time was typing something on his phone from the stands. While chair umpire Adel Nord attempted to defuse the situation, stating that the linesperson required to chaperone the player to and from the restroom was duty-bound to report any wrongdoing, Zverev rightly argued that there was no way for the linesperson to know what Tsitsipas was doing behind closed doors. Audibly booed by the audience upon his return to the court, the unfazed and seemingly recharged Greek proceeded to handily win the second set with what did appear to be a changed-up game plan, similar in nature to his match against Auger-Aliassime, before ultimately losing in a 3rd set tiebreaker. In defense to criticism received following his loss to Zverev, he retorted, "I don't think it would be very nice if I changed shorts on the court in front of everybody. I prefer to do that in the locker room. People have to understand, I'm not going to stop doing it, because it makes me feel better when I step out on the court to begin the new set." However heated the matter proved to be in Cincinnati though, it was poised to reach a boiling point weeks later at the US Open. Up against fan favorite and general underdog Andy Murray, Tsitsipas followed up a lengthy post-3rd set medical timeout with an 8+ minute post-4th set toilet break, enraging the Brit who accused Tsitsipas of blatantly cheating, loudly questioning Stefanos' reasoning for taking so long considering the bathroom's courtside proximity.
What, for 20 minutes every time? And the toilet's right there. What's he doing? What's he doing in there? It's never once taken me that long to go to the toilet, ever.
In a post-match press conference, the losing Murray lambasted Tsitsipas' unsportsmanlike actions, saying he had lost respect for Tsitsipas, that his opponent's length of time away from the court, among other time-wasting actions, were purposely executed to cool Murray down and change momentum. The next morning, in fact, he tweeted, "Fact of the day, it takes Stefanos Tsitsipas twice as long to go to the bathroom as it does Jeff Bezos to fly into space. Interesting." It was at this point that news of Stefanos' ongoing behavior, now dubbed Toiletgate, had escaped the tennis world into mainstream news outlets, prompting commentary from some of the biggest names in the sport, either arguing against the distasteful behavior or defending Tsitsipas's actions. Now, to reiterate, putting sportsmanship aside, Stefanos' visible antics here did not constitute any actual wrongdoing, but instead merely took advantage of the unspecified vernacular dictating bathroom breaks. The real question is voiced by his frustrated opponent stood though. Was he cheating by receiving illegal off-court communication? As mentioned, Tsitsipas and his father were already known to openly and continually defy the off-court coaching rule when in place. And as was seen in the opening of the second set against Zverev after returning to the court with his bag in tow, his tactics had evidently changed, attempting to serve and volley in the first 3 points and coming to the net a total of 4 points in the first game after having only approached the net 6 times total in the first set. This conjecture, though, hardly counts as evidence. As any tennis player would testify, most tactical changes do occur between sets, and the quieter, private area of a bathroom could be seen as the best place to regroup and ascertain the next course of action. In fact, as seen following his extended post-first set toilet break against Casper Ruud in Toronto after winning the first set handily, he later claimed that he really did just need to change his clothes due to the excessive humidity, albeit at his own pace. Regarding the excessive time used, the ATP just months after the previous events came out in November 2021 with a revision to the bathroom rule, stating that players will now be limited to 1 break per match, for a maximum of 3 minutes after they enter the bathroom, with an extra 2 minutes if they want to change clothes. While an unfortunate resolution for the normally law-abiding players that may occasionally need more time, it's a necessary change for a rule that, regardless of Stefanos' actions, was likely already being abused regardless. As for Stefanos himself, he's thankfully taken the criticism levied against him in jest, as when a meme circulated the internet, mocking the length of time his brother Petros took to serve in a doubles match, he commented, "I could have gone to the bathroom and back by that time."